On April 3rd, Bureau of Labor Statistics released a job report that sounded like very good news. According to the headline number, the United States economy had 178,000 jobs in a single month. But that headline does not match what a lot of people are actually feeling. Consumer sentiment recently fell to its lowest level since this data started being tracked. In other words, Americans are reporting deeper economic anxiety now than many past crises, including periods that most people would assume were much worse. And that creates a real contradiction because during the same month, corporations announced more than 60,000 job cuts, and weekly unemployment climbed to 219,000. So how can the economy be shedding jobs in one direction while supposedly having a huge number of jobs in another? To understand the glitch, you have to understand how the data is built. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS, does not have a live feed of who is getting paid in real time. It relies on two separate surveys. The first is the establishment survey, which asks employers about payroll. The second is the household survey, which asks actual people whether they had a job. Now, here's where things get interesting. Very deeper in the same report, the household survey showed that 64,000 people actually had work that month. So while the airline suggested strong job growth, the people-based survey was pointing in an opposite direction. And yet, the headline number that drives the conversation, the one markets, media, and policymakers focus on, comes from the establishment survey. That matters because the establishment survey is measuring payroll interest, not necessarily human beings. In plain English, it is counting jobs on paper, not unique people in real life. So, if one person is struggling financially and takes on a second job or a third job, the survey counts that as 2 or 3 jobs added. But that does not mean 2 or 3 people found financial stability. It may just mean one person is under enormous pressure. Last month's number was also inflated by something very specific. You see, around 25,000 healthcare workers returned to work after a strike. Technically, that showed up as new job creation. But in reality, those were not brand new jobs created by a booming economy. They were people returning to positions that already existed. So right away, you can see how the system can make the labor market look stronger than the lived reality underneath it. And it gets even more complicated. You see, the BLS methodology was designed for workforce built around physical offices, factories, and centralized job sites. That made more sense in an early economy. But today, remote work has changed the landscape. When people work across location, across state, or across multiple employers, geographic job tracking becomes less reliable. That increases the chance of double counting and large omission. In fact, 2025, the BLS had to revise away roughly 800,000 jobs it had previously reported. This is not a smart adjustment. This is a major signal that the system has blind spot. Then there's something called birth-death model. That sounds technical, but the basic idea is simple. Since the government cannot instantly track every business opening or closing, it uses a model to estimate how many businesses were born and how many failed or died in a given month. In theory, that helps fill in the gap. In practice though, the modern gig economy can distort that model. For example, if someone loses a stable job and starts driving for Uber just to pay rent, that activity can be interpreted by the model as new business formation. On paper, it may look like an economic dynamism, but in real life, it may be financial stress. That is a very different story. And one of the biggest blind spots in this entire system is this. You see, the establishment survey mainly tracks traditional W-2 employment. It is a marvelous job capturing the world of independent contractors. That includes everyone from DoorDash drivers to freelance software engineers to consultants to creators and all kinds of self-employed workers. Now, why does that matter? Well, because in a downtown economy, the contractors are often the first people to get caught. They lose income immediately, but those losses may never show up clearly in the headline payroll number. So you can have a real pain spreading through the economy without seeing much of it reflected in the number everyone is celebrating on TV. And so this is not just a technical issue. It has real consequences because the jobs report helps shape Federal Reserve decision on interest rates. If the labor market looks stronger than it really is, policy makers may keep rates higher for longer period of time. And that puts pressure on households and businesses that are already strained. Corporations see this too. They see the optimistic headline, then compare it with weaker revenue, softer demands, and tighter margins inside your own business. And that disconnection can push them towards hiring freezes or more defensive decisions. So the misleading headline can trick into real economic behavior. What makes this more striking is that economists inside BL have acknowledged some of these flaws in published research. So this is not some fringe complaint. The problems are known, but the system largely remains the same. The question then is why? Well, it's because changing it will create a major break in historical data, and that will be uncomfortable for Wall Street, policymakers, and anyone who wants continuity in the numbers. There's also quite a political incentive here. A monthly number that can swing by 200,000 jobs depending on subject clerks, return to work, timing, or modeling assumption is a very useful headline tool. It gives any administration room to point to a strong report and claim momentum, even if the deeper picture is much less convincing. So the key point is this. The monthly headline jobs number has become increasingly disconnected from the lead experts of the American worker. Hearing the payroll were headed does not necessarily mean 70,000 people gain lasting financial stability. Those are not the same. And once you understand that gap, you start reading the jobs report differently. So the next time a blowout headline says the labor market is drawing, you will know to ask the more important question, which is what exactly is being counted and what is being missed. The question may tell you more actually about the economy than a headline ever will. And so if you find this breakdown useful, I appreciate you subscribing for more thoughtful analysis like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.